What communication challenges arise when a family member, a close family member, has substance abuse issues? A ton. I worked as a caseworker for Hope Haven years ago, and Hope Haven is a organization that helps people that deal with substance abuse, alcoholism, all that, to get off. And they're most of the time they're homeless, and we help the homeless get off the streets and try to stay off the streets. Um, that was very hard. That was one of the hardest organizations that I ever or experiences that I ever had in my life, because I felt like a chicken with my head cut off, like I was never getting anywhere, because substance abuse is major. I did learn that even though our goal was to help those that had substance abuse issues, I would venture to say the families and support systems needed more help than that person, because by proxy they were just drugged through the mud. They didn't do anything wrong. They didn't deserve what they were going through 100% of the time, but they were dealt that hand, and because they loved that person, they were required to stick by them. Some of the things I saw was just total withdrawal, because they didn't want to go places. They felt like everybody knows what's going on. It's like a spouse. Everybody knows my spouse is a drug addict, and that he cheats, and that he doesn't care. Everybody knows I'm abused. And then they just sink into themselves, and then they isolate and they withdraw. And so that's avoidance and silence, and it's bad, and then next thing you know, they're in depression, and they're having to seek help to get out of their issues while they're trying to somewhat be a support system for their family member. Um, so avoidance was big. They definitely avoided a lot. Conflict, they would deal with conflict. You might have a teenager. I knew actually a teenager who was involved in drug use, and he kept running away. And his mom and dad ended up having severe marital conflict because they could not agree. One wanted to kick him out, the other wanted to keep him close to home and just keep getting him help and baby him. And dad was like, nah, let him go, let him do his thing. Well, the worst part is that couple ended up getting a divorce because they could not get it together behind their son's um, addiction. So sad. So conflict is always going to be there. Conflict management issues. It's just bad. What's another one? Probably one of the family members would go through having to just save face and just ignore and act like you don't care, when you know good and well everybody's talking about you behind your back or talking about your family. Going to church, if you have a family, or going to the workplace, and everybody knows, oh, so and so, you hearing the gossip, it's there. Even your friends talk about you. And maybe they don't say mean things, but you're the topic of discussion. But you have to keep pushing. You just ignore it. You just, you know, smile and bear through it. And honestly, that's probably the best way to cope. But I mean, it is still coping. It doesn't feel good. It's not, I mean, you're not in a place where you can be happy, or content. You're probably worrying. You deal with worrying and anxiety and just all the things that having, the stigma of having an addicted family member brings. It's terrible. And we need to be cognizant that just because a person has a close, or is the social support of someone that has addiction issues, like, love that person. Ask them if they're okay. There's no excuse for being unkind, especially in some situations like that. Like, we're all just a bad choice away from missing the mark and failing. So, my heart breaks for those types of people. And, I think that we could really help them by just empathizing and walking with them instead of judging and talking behind their back and smiling in their faces. You know, this is where how I feel that the structure is with families that have to deal with stigmatized, addicted family members.